Yeah, I just can't abide by that level of weakness. I can't support or endorse it in any way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Bernie Sanders on a lot of stuff, but he seems to have no understanding of foreign policy.
Yeah, that's what scares me. He thinks that he's going to say all these magical words. Like he said, he was going to get yesterday. He said something about he was going to bring our Middle Eastern, lobby our Middle Eastern allies and get them to fight ISIS and destroy ISIS. Like, you're a Jew, dude. They will not give a shit about
Eastern,
anything you say.
we have one Middle Eastern ally, and I'm pretty sure that Israel is busy.
Yeah, yeah. And they're gonna be like, "What? You want us to stop ISIS?" Yeah, we're a little busy fending the horde off from crashing through our gates and killing all of us. So you go take care of ISIS. ISIS isn't really Israel's problem. It's more Saudi Arabia's problem. You really think Saudi Arabia is gonna? I mean, how's it gonna look, Saudi Arabia, to all their people if they're in cahoots with a Jewish president of the United States? It's like all of their devils combined into one.
So, did you see that the head of security in Dubai is now saying that they should work with Israel?
Head of security in Dubai. Yeah, they've always been a
Yeah.
little.
What it is that they've had for a long time secret agreements with Israel to, at the highest level, to work with them against Iran. But now they want to, the higher ups want to bring that into the open. It's just that the average guy doesn't like that.
Trying to find the page I had, but yeah, it's that's a road I cannot go down.
Well, regardless of the personal failings in foreign policy of Bernie Sanders, he would be better than Clinton. Although I guess that's not much of an accomplishment.
Yeah, but better than Clinton in what way? Because you're looking at the guy's been in elected office as long as I've been alive. He's proposed 3 bills that have passed, and 2 of those were to rename post offices in Vermont. So if you're a little libertarian like me, then that's a good thing because he'll be so ineffective that no laws will ever get passed. Especially not any gun control laws that he supports. So that would actually be good for him to be elected.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with doing nothing.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly. The
his
Hippocratic Oath.
his supporters seem to think that doing anything is better than doing nothing.
The Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm.
Yep. Or the hypocritic oath that take it by politicians as they're sworn in.
So, oh, there was one
The
thing.
biggest thing that bothers me about Bernie Sanders is his supporters. I like the guy a lot more than I like most of his supporters. And I
Yeah.
say that as a college student surrounded by people who view him more as a religious figure than a political figure.
Well, I mean, that's my problem with him. He's become a lot like Jesus. He's a lot like Christianity. He's an old Jewish man going around talking about things that a lot of people are wanting to listen to, and the people that follow him think his words have magical powers, and they're following this old Jewish man around they think has magical powers and be able to solve every problem. once he, takes power. When, if you look at his record, I mean, he's not been very effective at actually taking the stuff he wants done and getting it done. He's been more effective at, adding a little amendments here and there and pulling legislation a little bit to the left wherever he could. Which is probably where he serves a better purpose. If we get because if it comes down to Trump, Clinton, let's face it, it'll be Clinton as president.
I'm actually not sure about that.
You know what? As much as I'd like to say I'm sure about it, I'm not that sure about it either. I'm not sure that Trump would not be elected president of the United States. I'm just not that sure.
Yeah. To spin his negative publicity around and use it in his favor somehow. I mean, yeah, that's what adds to the uncertainty, I guess.
Well, he's done in what? He's been running for 8 months, technically, 8, 9 months, something like that. Or has it been a year almost? But in that amount of time, he has done what the Democratic Party machine couldn't do in 30 years. He has systemically dismantled the entire right-wing Republican values voter wing of the Republican Party, and he has, one by one, picked every one of their selected and chosen candidates off. And not only picked them off, but he's destroyed them, which is just, it's been fun to watch because he's doing what the Democratic Party couldn't do with all their money and power.
The whole fact that he is the leading candidate is ridiculous, but it does not. It's not ridiculous on the part of the Republicans. It's ridiculous on behalf of all Americans. That's what I think.
Yeah, but it was bound to happen. I mean, everything goes in spurts. It's, the return of the right-wing populist. Nothing new. Nothing that we haven't seen before.
In that scene in Back to the Future where 30 years earlier the doctor finds it ridiculous that Ronald Reagan would be president? That's what I'm thinking about with regard to Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, we used to have businessmen like him that would run for president. That wasn't an unusual thing. They just weren't as bombastic. And his, basically he's a old school liberal, like an old school Democrat, right? He's he likes social spending. He likes, taking taxes and taking money and reallocating it through taxes. He's like a Democrat, fiscally. He's not really a conservative Republican.
Because he's been one all his life.
Yeah. I mean, it would appear so. I mean, as I look at his record, I'm like, oh, he supports
Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, and plenty of other people.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton's not a left-wing Democrat. She's a left of center, at best.
Who's received campaign contributions from Donald Trump.
Yeah. Oh, he knows where the money is. He knows where the bodies are buried for a lot of these. Especially since she was from New York. I mean, he definitely knows stuff about her. And the funny thing is, they haven't started to attack each other yet. This is all strictly primary right now.
Yeah, that's because she originally pulled him in to try to drive out the competition, but she seems to have lost control of him.
You can't stump the Trump. Nobody can control that. That is a machine that is out of control now. It is barreling towards Armageddon. You cannot stop the Trump train.
Nope.
Or as Milo Yiannopoulos likes to call him, Daddy. You're not going to be able to stop him.
Milo Yiannopoulos. What a character.
I know, I like that guy. I'm not supposed to like him. I know I'm not supposed to say that because he triggers people and he says bad things, but I like him. Yeah, I think just by saying his name, I might have broken 3 speech code laws.
Well, he does call himself the dangerous faggot.
Yeah. It is
The
dangerous.
thing about Trump is that he his whole appeal is based around the fact that he offends people.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think it's a good position, given the point that we're at now socially. I don't know if it's going to help us out fiscally, economically, internationally, but I don't have a problem with where he's at. You know, running as the candidate that's going to destroy the PC culture that's run amok.
Yeah, and now Hillary Clinton, the candidate with the biggest record of supporting wars, is saying that you shouldn't support him or Ted Cruz because they might get you into a war.
Yeah, well, Ted Cruz is a little more libertarian when it comes to that stuff, so I don't think he would be as. But I mean, just in the last few days, Bernie Sanders has come out and said, yes, ISIS needs to be destroyed. We need to destroy ISIS.
Yeah, when Bernie Sanders says that we need to go and kill you, you kind of screwed up.
Yeah, you're probably a bad person. I mean, even when Canada is even bombing you, you've probably taken it to a new level. Oh, well, yeah, let's see. What did we just have? We just had the Belgian bombing. Have we talked? I think that's all that's happened since the last time. But yeah, the Belgian bombing.
The Supreme Court decision.
Oh, yeah, the Supreme Court gives boost to stun gun owners. I'd like to own a stun gun here in D.C.
We're in Massachusetts. Former internet friend of mine. I say former because he cut me off recently. But that aside,
That's happening a lot lately. That's not something that's only
I think
happening.
it was more so because I was busy and I couldn't respond to his shit, and he thought I was ignoring him. Anyway, that aside though, yeah, he basically was talking about how they give criminals more rights than victims over there, basically like Australia and the UK. So yeah, they really need that ruling.
But
Nice.
did you see what it said? It said that, specifically said that any weapon suitable for military use is protected, and military use is not necessarily. Well, the previous decision upheld the NFL by saying that since a short-barreled shotgun did not have military use, it was not protected by the Second Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
But this one said that is not the standard by which you judge whether or not something is protected.
Conception of the as a sort of fossilized relic trapped in amber. A stun gun, she said, is an instrument designed for self-defense, so the state's ban on possession violated the U.S. Supreme Court's 2008 ruling that said the Second Amendment protects the right to keep a handgun at home for self-defense. So Heller was the precedent they used to
but
smack that down.
One of the things that it says throws into seems like it might throw into question that the original Supreme Court decision upholding the NFA in the 30s.
It said something about any bearable arm. I read something about that on the webpage and I didn't save it. Any bearable arm is basically protected by the Second Amendment.
Yeah, which basically means everything that's not ordnance, which is so everything that's not a crew-served weapon, and arguably some crew-served weapons.
Like a 249, which actually that's an individual weapon, so that wouldn't count.
240 Bravo.
240 Bravo, yeah, that'd be like a crew-served weapon in some cases.
And in terms of crew-served weapons that I would consider to be arms, I'd say heavy machine guns and stuff would be arms, but A howitzer would definitely be ordnance, and
That's explosives.
a mortar probably a mortar probably would be ordnance.
Let's be let's be completely real though. Ordnance was all privately owned back in the Revolutionary War days. Private
Yeah,
cannons, private artillery.
Well, yeah,
that is
the first unit was an artillery unit that was privately purchased.
Yeah.
It was the first unit in the Continental Army. Privately purchased cannon battery.
All these regresses be like, uh, we can't imagine all this. I mean, founding fathers could have never imagined all this firepower. So that's why we can't include it in the Constitution.
Yeah.
An argument from ignorance. Basically.
well. That means that that the stupid things that you're saying on the internet are not protected by the Constitution either.
They couldn't have imagined you'd be able to say so many stupid things so quickly.
They couldn't imagine whatever tech speak could exist.
It'd be nice if I could start carrying a stun gun around. I feel a lot safer. I already carry stuff around illegally. I'm not going to say what or where I carry it, but sometimes, not guns, but stuff that's technically out of jurisdiction sometimes when I carry it. But, yeah, so that becomes a problem. And if I could carry a stun gun, that'd be a lot better. I'd feel a lot better on the metro, that's for damn sure.
That wouldn't stop it from catching on fire.
That's true. I need a fire extinguisher and a stun gun. I'd be safe on the metro. So that's a... I mean, is there any other effects from this that you've read? I haven't really read much about it, just the basic NBC News type articles about it. But I mean,
yeah,
I read something about bearable arms are protected by the Second Amendment, which I thought was pretty cool.
The clause in the decision that I found most interesting, as I said, was the one where they said that its suitability for military use is not the determinant of whether or not a weapon is protected.
Okay. So yeah, that'd be a... So even if something... So their argument basically that military assault... When they say military assault weapon, military assault rifle, that argument is out the window now. Because it's been termed legitimate arms for carrying.
Yep. That is...
Okay.
That is a glorious thing.
This is literally only... Yeah, I've basically given put the whole quote-unquote assault weapon definition to the test with, like, you know, actually asking anti-gunners what to them what defines one, and literally only one has answered to me, and it's basically what was already in the law. And I asked them, okay, like, why these features that's already in the law? I mean, okay, I guess it's better than saying, oh, because of furniture, but no. Like,
It has a shoulder thing that goes up.
basically, they went off saying, oh, the safety features let them kill more people, like, the flash hider, for example. I'm like, yeah, to make sure they can't be seen, they're hiding the flash, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you do know that's for, protecting the user's eyes in low light conditions, right?
You can still see the flash when it comes out the barrel. It's not helping hide anyone. And then the noise suppressors are gaining some credibility.
Are really crazy about that.
The Hearing Protection Act or something.
How's that going?
The restrictionists really have gone crazy about it.
GovTrack. I'm looking it up on GovTrack. Let's see. Oh, close. God damn. Track this bill. Hearing Protection Act of 2015, introduced October 22nd, referred to committee on the 22nd of October. It's 3 pages long. And I don't know. It doesn't say where it's at. 0% chance of being enacted. That's what they're saying on GovTrack.
Well, yeah.
Matt Salmon from Arizona's 5th Congressional District, a Republican, of course, is the sponsor.
Yeah.
HR 3799. Which, so how many? Can you provide me statistics on how many people are dead because the person had a suppressor on their weapon?
0.
Yeah, like I don't understand. Like the suppressor does not make a gun more lethal.
Legal anyway. Like legally acquired suppressors in these murders. I mean, sure, you probably have a few gangland ones here and there, but then again, you can't really prove that a suppressor was used. You
Right.
can find the damn suppressor in the first place, and even so, you haven't found any legally owned ones, at least, that were used in these murders. So, yeah.
Did you notice that if you cannot legally own a firearm, then you cannot be charged with a violation of the National Firearms Act, because attempting to register one of those would be self-incrimination?
That is awesome.
Wow.
That does make sense, though. Legally, that makes sense to me. As stupid as it sounds.
Well,
Disclaimer, none of
that
us
right there defeats the purpose of the act enough to warrant a full repeal.
Yeah. Yeah, we should lobby the... just with that one factoid right there, did you know criminals can get away with having guns because of the National Firearms Act? We should repeal the National Firearms Act.
Well, automatic weapons are also covered by the 1968 law, so it's just short-barreled, long-armed, suppressors, any other weapon, and destructive devices.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's nice. I like that. I have to remember that if I ever get hemmed up. Not that I own anything that's illegal, because that would be wrong.
Nothing to see here, NSA.
They can come check me out. I don't have anything that's illegal. Okay, so the last action on this thing was that it was referred to subcommittee. The Hearing Protection Act was referred to Subcommittee on Crime, Terrorism, Homeland Security, and Investigations for committee consideration. That was on 23 November. So that's not going to pass, and it's not going anywhere. They're not.
I'll tell you what else
concerned
is
about it.
going to pass, though. Gavin Newsom's recent anti-gun initiative is being shot down several fronts here. One, by all the sheriffs in the state. Two, from fish and game wardens, on the state level at least. And three, get this, deputy DAs.
Well, it probably has some confusing language that makes it harder for them to indict people or, find out who's a criminal and who's not, and just makes their job harder.
Yeah, do you expect DAs to do anything based on actually convicting the right people, or do you expect them to just want to get a conviction regardless of who's guilty?
No,
Well,
I mean, we don't want them to have to work.
Yeah, it's like all those police TV shows where the police and prosecutor keep complaining about having to get a warrant.
Yeah, it's instead of doing hard work and casting a very, using hooks to catch fish, they want to cast a wide net and hem anyone up that they can, just to make their job easier. Because let's face it, if you're anti-gun, your entire goal is to get rid of all guns. Period. That's your entire goal. If you support gun control, that's your goal.
There are some people who don't think that, but they're just being exploited as useful idiots.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they're just as bad because they're just ignorant people. If they just took the time to educate themselves, I mean, they're not dumb. They're they're ignorant. And if they just took the time to get a little more knowledge on the subject, then
They'd be able to clearly see that they're being exploited.
Oh yeah. I used to be one of those common sense folks until I actually took the time out to actually learn about this shit.
Yeah, learning is generally something that, if you're willing to do it, it'll change your position on this issue.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a blog, and you can track my sort of involvement on this issue. Where I was like, common sense gun control, we can all do that, and like I was actually for insurance and all that stuff. And then I finally got to a point where I was like, no, none of this makes sense if you go from a property rights libertarian point of view. You can't support any of that. So who posted that on LGBT for gun rights? I saw a long post about property rights and.
Oh yeah, gun rights are an extension of property rights.
Right, because that's how I view it.
I don't think anyone can argue against that.
No doubt.
So you guys had a kerfuffle on your page about it? I guess.
Oh, LGBT for gun rights.
Yeah.
Not affiliated with them anymore for other reasons, but yeah, basically, what happened was a burn victim, whatever you want to call him, that was closely intimate with the original founder. Basically, hijacked the page, let on a bunch of anti-gun, regressive left admins, and they locked us out. And yeah, we got the page back after like a day, but yeah.
It was entertaining, at least.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not active on that page anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just doing Rifles and Reason now?
Just Rifles and Reason.
Yep. Yeah, I think one page would be enough. I haven't had enough time. I mean, even all I'm doing right now is just finding crap from other pro-gun pages and posting it on my page. I'm not really producing any more original content right now just because...
Oh, no, me neither. I'm busy as hell. But I still try to put out some useful commentary.
Yeah, I used to admin two different heavy metal pages. One of them I left because it seemed like the other admins were neo-Nazis.
Fucking Christ.
That's the problem with heavy metal.
Thanks for the stereotypes.
You always have that like 10% chance.
And this it was specifically for fans of Viking metal, so yeah.
Yeah, now you run to like a 90% chance.
Cultural appropriation.
I really don't think it's 90%. I think that it's a large vocal minority in
in Viking metal.
Yeah. And then the other page I left because it was, well, the other admins stopped doing stuff, and I ended up finding myself in a bit of a disagreement with the head admin politically.
LWGR?
This is a heavy metal page that I used to admin.
Yeah, that's why I'm the only admin of my page. I do have a shadow sub-admin, but he has been busy for a few months. So.
Yeah, from the page that I've been adminning, there are two other admins, but they don't really post much.
So since you're in California, the Safety for All Act, what was that? What did that encompass? What is that? I know there was something about high. Now I don't understand the high capacity magazine situation in California. I think you could like prior ownership was
Oh, yeah.
grandfathered in, and you could own them if you priorly owned them, but you can't transfer them.
Nope. And then, well, in LA, they made it illegal to own them. And guess how many law-abiding gun owners? How many criminals turned in theirs?
All of them?
They wouldn't want to break the law.
I know, right?
Yeah.
No, of course, none of them.
So that reminds me. I thought of a really great idea on what we can do to stop people from killing each other. We can make murder illegal.
Super duper secret illegal. As Colleen Noir puts it.
So high-capacity magazines was one of the things for Safety for All. And then I think they want people to turn them in now, or you'd have to transfer them out of state, or...
Essentially, yeah. And really, from a law enforcement perspective, you're not gonna go door to door looking for, hey, you happen to have this certain metal box with a spring loader and a follower in it, you know?
Yeah.
We're gonna search your house for that one little metal box, okay? And please super honest with me that you don't have it, okay?
The politicians can try to get law enforcement to do it, but that doesn't
They
mean
won't do it.
Yeah, law enforcement
For
won't do it.
several levels. Like, honestly, the only way they can enforce this is like they've already got this criminal jammed up for other charges, and they got leverage.
Yeah.
This is how gun control works in the U.S. Essentially.
This will go just like the New York SAFE Act did, where they have like a 6% participation rate.
So did you see that one of the main authors of the New York SAFE Act is facing a prison sentence, and he's using the fact that he was responsible for that law as
Why he's going to be punished? Is that as his defense?
as an explanation for why he should get a sentence that does not involve actual incarceration.
What the fuck?
You know, I can see it being used in a sentencing hearing, but I don't understand why it would be used to show that you shouldn't go to prison.
Wait, I wrote this really cool law. I shouldn't go to prison.
But I broke it. Here's it for you.
About some corruption issue that is otherwise irrelevant. I'm gonna go find a link to it now.
I found it. Skilos points to SAFE Act.
Yeah, that.
That was loud. I don't know if you heard that, but it was loud in my ears.
Oh yeah, I was at my local gun shop yesterday. Yeah, we actually have those in California. And saw this Bushmaster Carbon 15 state compliant model with yes, you guessed it, the magazine well is closed. It's basically an actual fixed magazine rifle. Yeah.
How do you load it then?
You flip the upper. I guess you flip the upper off with the rear takedown pin, and then you load it from there.
Okay, that's ridiculous. Remind me to avoid California at all costs.
That's just straight up insanity.
That's you don't want a bullet button gun, but then okay, and I tried the mag release on that thing, and it was perfectly functioning, but it's redundant, like the hind legs on a whale. Basically, it's a vestigial trace of its evolution, if I can put it any better. Like let me find it.
So
Skilos points to SAFE Act and bid to avoid prison. Former Senate Majority Leader Dean Skelos is pointing to the SAFE Act as evidence of his political courage. So he submitted some sort of sentencing memo. So he's just trying to avoid harsher sentencing by saying he was a good guy, he passed this good law.
Yeah, that doesn't really seem to be like something that should be used as a reason to avoid prison. Does it?
No. It
Fair found
has no effect on your. Oh man.
So, Ryan, which of your two home states do you think you'd rather live in the current state of affairs? New York or California?
California all the way. New York is so just too fucked up beyond repair. I mean, if I was still going on the law enforcement track, I'd probably still move there. I mean, I could probably deal with moving there because it is a nice state. I still have family there, and I do have relatives over there who can get me access to proper shooting sports over there. That's not neutered by Albany so much, but still, I don't want to rely on them every time. I have to do that.
So yeah, it is. It's top loading.
Yep.
You flip the upper off and you load it
Yeah.
like the old clip style.
Yep.
That
And
is ridiculous.
this is.
Yeah, when it gets like that, why bother?
I
Right?
mean, we can still have fixed magazine rifles that use detachable magazines in this state, but this is just like one of those doomsday precautions if they decide to take it another level.
Yeah.
If they like ban the bullet button.
Ugh. Nasty. Nasty. I thought Maryland was bad. We just can't have short barrels. You can have heavy barrels, but not short barrels.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
No NFA items, guys. Even if a pistol, a pistol. Even if a criminal decides to slap a pistol upper on a regular lower.
Did you know that in several states it's legal to concealed carry a short-barreled rifle without a permit?
Yeah.
Because
Vermont being one of
no, even if you otherwise need a permit, even if you need a permit to carry a sidearm, in several states it's legal to carry a short-barreled rifle. To concealed carry a short-barreled rifle because no, when they were writing the law, no one considered the possibility of concealed carrying a rifle.
So they just labeled it pistols. They said no concealed carrying of a pistol, and then label firearm.
Yeah. So I find that hilarious.
Yeah.
Don't you?
So another provision, I just looked it up, another provision of this New York Safety for All, or not the New York, the California Safety for All Act is registration card, fee, and background check for the purchase of ammo.
Oh yeah.
How are you going to enforce that?
Retailers for one, but that's basically it. Even though we do know that criminals don't buy their ammo from those legal sources. And like there was a God, hold on.
Well, for $500, I can start making my own ammo. I can get a press and start making my own ammo.
If I was a criminal, I'd get myself a reloading press.
Yeah, I just get a reloading press and hire a dude.
Oh, they do their own reloads, but they're all amateur.
Oh yeah, well that's why that is unsurprising.
That's great. They're learning a hobby.
Yeah.
They can just hire one dude that's really good at it to do it. Like, hey, you're the ammo reloader guy.
Or that, but they steal ammo.
Press. Yeah. So now ammo becomes a black market commodity that people go into homes to steal. Ugh. That's a mess. Is there any other part of that besides I mean, a background check for ammo, I think is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It doesn't get much dumber than that.
I mean, Ryan, you've gotten to the point where other countries have better laws than your state.
Yeah, like what?
Canada? Does Canada have better gun laws than California?
Oh no.
Yeah,
No.
definitely.
RCMP checkups every with no due process.
Aside from that,
No.
they have it pretty good compared to California. I mean,
5-round limit magazines.
Ugh.
aside from the magazine capacity limits and
The
that,
magazine
There's more-
capacity limits.
There's more
The
nuances
RCMP
about it
can-
than you think.
The RCMP can break into your house and check it anytime they want.
Yeah.
Nah. I
And
think
you have to
California's still better.
register everything over there, whereas California is just the handguns right now.
Why? Because it's the current year. That's why.
It's the current. Yep. Freaking Trudeau.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that fucking drama teacher.
Drama teacher. Exactly.
Oh God, I wish we had the Canadian on here. So I don't even know if he would say anything because I don't know how their rules are about talking against their prime minister and all that shit. So yeah, I don't like the
They
guy.
can't touch us. They can't touch us.
The more shit I read about this guy and I hear about this guy, he just has a very punchable face every time I see him on TV.
Justin Trudeau.
Yeah. Fuck him. Fucking stupid regressive left fucking bullshit. Fucking beta male feminist. Ugh. Yuck. Take that shit. Go away.
He is the second. He is one of the 2 hereditary politicians in charge of Canada right now, along with the Queen.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that is a form of nepotism, right? Oh wait, I think our Canadian friend just popped up.
Is that Henry? That's Henry.
Yeah. We're just talking about Canada right now.
I don't know if you can hear us yet.
Anyway, I should say that this is a bad state for handguns, though, since all the ones that we can buy legally are on a roster, and that gets smaller every fucking year. And the thing about the roster is, like, the companies had to pay the state of California if they want to stay on the roster. It's extortion.
Yeah, it's bribery. That's ridiculous.
So this is I wouldn't say great. It's a decent state for long guns. Handguns, no.
So long guns, it's still okay, but pistols, not so much.
Yeah, for the most part with long guns, aside from the detachable magazine BS, but other than that, the bullet button. I'll hail the almighty bullet button.
Apologies for that.
Yeah, we're just talking shit about Justin Trudeau.
Oh, perfect. My kind of conversation. I jumped in just the right time. You know what? That's what I've been basically doing all day anyways. We just had a big gun show in my hometown. Probably like one of the biggest in the country, actually.
You have those in Canada?
Oh, yeah.
There's like 5 guns.
Yeah, I mean, there's 5 people in Canada, so basically everyone has a gun.
I mean, what's next? Are you going to start claiming that you guys have other really American stuff like rodeos?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Well, you know what? Where I'm from, Calgary, is one of the biggest rodeos in North America. Believe it or not.
Yeah, it's where the world's largest rodeo is. That was the joke.
Yeah. So we are we're good stuff up here. Where I'm at. So I just got myself a plate carrier, which is good. I just for runs, I just got myself a big old stein, a beer stein. For those of you that have me added on the real Facebook there, you probably have seen a picture of it already. I have it up. Big old beer stein, Colt, the Colt logo, Smith and Wesson sign. So it was a good go. I ended up not buying a firearm because, well, first off, I have like not enough money. Second, there's an interesting thing I guess I should bring up anyways in Canada. In cases we have where it is technically legally, you know, permitted to open carry a firearm if the firearm is a restricted or non-restricted long gun, and the non-restricted long gun
Is
just
cased?
No, that's not true. All it
Really?
has to have is the bolt removed, so the firing mechanism removed. You can just carry it around. So, someone tried to do that last year at like not a gun show or something. He just bought a gun.
Demilled, obviously.
So not demilled, like it was a working firearm. He just took out
Oh,
the firing mechanism, like the bolt.
firing. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just a little 22, but he brought it on the C train, which is our light rail line, and
Don't be stupid. You're not helping us.
yeah, that guy really wanted to push the boundaries, and there's now a municipal bylaw where you couldn't, but technically at the time,
Okay.
only like last year you could. And
I'd like to see that on the DC Metro. Somebody carrying a rifle. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, just a little 22 is all you need, but he was a sort of a shit disturber, and that's what happens.
He made things worse.
Yeah, I was because I ended up, because I'm a cheap bastard, I ended up not paying for parking, so I took the train. Like I parked a station away, and I took the train because I didn't want to park outside the big facility. And you know what? Just a sec. So yeah, so I parked outside the train facility there, and I was like, geez, if I was to buy a gun, I'd have to take the C train back. Even if it's one stop to my car, but it would have been a complete catastrophe because right beside the gun show was Disney on Ice. So
What?
like all like the soccer moms and their little girls, dressed up in little tutus and stuff, watching Disney on Ice, which is like Snow
That
White.
would have been entertaining at
It
least.
would have, you know what? It would have made BBC. Crazy Canadian man brings firearm.
Canadian Army reservist, because they'd have to mention
Yeah, they'd have to mention that.
Well, you heard about what happened in North Dakota, right? University of North Dakota.
What happened there?
UND. So when you're an ROTC, right? And I know this from practical experience. When you're an ROTC, sometimes you use the college green, the quad. Sometimes you use it to practice, maneuver by fire, and you'll have rubber ducks or whatever to practice maneuvering.
When I was at the New Mexico Military Institute, they did that and nobody objected.
Yeah, well, this UND professor had a problem with it.
Yeah, and in New Mexico, you couldn't really call it the green.
Yeah, just a brown dirt. Yeah, let's see if I can. Yeah, so the UND professor says ROTC training on campus terrorized her. She said it's not, practice. She basically said it's not practice. And at times like these, we shouldn't have people out doing that sort of thing, running around with guns, and even if they are in uniform.
Well, it's too bad. They sent out an email announcing this, and you can clearly tell that who those guys are, because who else would be dressed in ACUs?
Army Lieutenant Colonel Clarence Carroll said the training is simulated with fake guns and no live ammunition. We actually prefer to train on the university because that provides us an opportunity for other students to see what we do and become interested in our program. So it's sort of a recruiting thing, and I always understand.
The same people that could get offended by.
Well, you know what? A similar incident happened at the University of Winnipeg up here in Canada. So they brought what was it? Our general, not our GPMGs, our light machine guns, or C6. So you guys is 240 Bravos. We had a bunch of those set up. And
No, the 240 Bravo is the GPMG.
Is it a GP? You guys consider a GPMG? So on our roster, I guess it's still
GPMG.
Actually, it is a GPMG. You're right.
Is the FN Mag, which we call the 240.
So okay, so I am thinking of the GPMG then. So the GPMG is what we brought up. We brought two of them mounted on G wagons, and basically they got a huge complaint. It was like a protest saying that you can't show this at a university because they're weapons of war. You can't display them. Blah blah blah. And it offends sensibilities of students. And basically obviously I'm quite thankful that in the comment section and of both the website that covered the story, CBC or National Broadcaster, and on the Facebook page, their Facebook page, and the Facebook post, it was all just people railing on them how they disrespect the military, which is awesome. But at the end of the day, there's still a whole bunch of students at the University of Winnipeg, even if the whole bunch of people disagree with them, that think that bringing machine guns with the bolts removed. Okay, because that's how we do it when we do our public displays, right? We wouldn't have a bolt in, for obvious reasons. Bolt removed and a cable lock right through the fire mechanism. They think that this is
dangerous.
Too dangerous and going to trigger people in the wrong way. They use the word trigger specifically. Trigger, because they're weapons of war, blah blah blah. And they're like, it's going to trigger survivors of gun violence, yada yada yada, and it's.
No, it's just going to trigger stupid people.
I know, but it's this is their crazy mindset. They don't seem to understand that there's a world that exists outside their bubble, right? And that's sort of an esoteric way to say it, but I mean, when you think about it, these people are so ignorant of the reality of things outside the first world. Okay. They're completely unaware of the reality of things happening within the first world, i.e. in the firearms community, right? Again, I went to a gun show today that they sold ammo there. There was ammo on site, right? People are walking around open carrying guns inside this big, giant warehouse, and nobody got shot over the course of, the full day that it's been going on right now. It's going on for another day. So I don't know. I guess these people will always be ignorant, and it is our duty to make sure we point out how big of an ignoramus they are.
Exactly.
We were just discussing that. They were just discussing, how ignorant these anti-gun people are, and a lot of them are just useful idiots and dupes.
And they have enough points, I guess, on their side that they can. The scary part is they have enough points that they can, they can make people that aren't totally ignorant of, I guess, the firearms community, right? They can make these people that are sort of moderate, so to speak. I don't really believe that moderates in a full sense.
It's not even moderate. Okay, there's a difference between.
They can convince enough people, to vote for anti-gun measures, and I mean that's how we ended up with the '94, AWB and all that good stuff, Brady Bill, and of course that's how we up here in Canada ended up with what I'm more familiar with, Bill C-68 '95. It was a minority of these really, really, really delusional people convincing people that otherwise should not have been delusional, but they got the wrong information. They got the completely. They got the perspective of the complete ignoramus is what they got, instead of getting the perspective of people that live this stuff every day. Military purse, sports shooters, hunters, trappers,
why would you ask them?
Right?
They're the enemy, right?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, we are the enemy. It's alright.
Everything's black and white. The good guys and the bad guys. The people who own guns are bad guys.
Remember how in the Democratic debate a couple months ago they asked something about enemies? So O'Malley said the National Rifle Association.
Yeah.
And then,
Jim Webb.
yeah,
Jim Webb. That guy who threw a grenade at me in Vietnam. He's not around to talk about it.
I
Yep.
remember that. That was good.
Fucking Jim
Good
Webb.
on Jim. Jim should be
He was my
president.
choice. He was my choice. He was the guy I wanted.
yeah, I'm still gonna write him in probably.
Fuck yeah, that's a good idea. Right in Jim Webb.
Jim Webb is fantastic.
He's like an old school, like just a little left of center Democrat. Maybe even just a centrist Democrat.
I feel he's more of a centrist than people give him credit for.
Yeah. Well, he
Because
was a Republican.
being a far right crazy person, I still not only do I tolerate him, I respect him a lot of his views and where he comes from, and his willingness to not compromise per se, because I think that compromise gets us nothing, but he's very principled, but he knows how to be an adult, which I respect immensely, because politics either believe, in politics, a lot of people are either very, very, I guess, stubbornly principled, which is fine, and there are people that are very, very, compromising, which is, I guess, sort of fine, but at the end of the day, neither of those things are accomplished as much as being adult, right?
Right.
And I guess being adult is different. Being adult is, not necessarily compromising, but understand where other people are coming from. And Jim Webb seems to understand that better than most people. His wife is someone that he probably would have not been too happy with back in the '60s when he was in Nam. Just putting that out there. Right? His wife's a VC, so he's an adult, and he doesn't let. Yeah, props to him.
He was my guy. Of course, he's in in Canada. He'd be like a right winger. I don't know what your right winger.
Oh, he'd be a far right wing. He'd be denounced as a crazy, psycho murderer. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. What's your right wing party up there?
It's led by a very center leftish center lady by the name of Ronna Ambrose right now, since we lost the election. Stephen Harper was a good guy. Well, he was a true blue Tory. Like, he was a good right wing conservative. But I feel that he was very, very compromising, because there's different wings of the right wing conservative party in Canada. There are the old true blue Tories, and there are the straight up red Tories, we call them. Red Toryism. I guess it's British.
Are they
Canadian
like constitutionalists, or are they
we don't really have
libertarian
per se. Our constitution is sort of a meme at this point, because it basically entitles you to nothing. Because there are human rights commissions that can. I think there's actually a clause. I can't. I don't know the Constitution as well as I should up here in Canada, but I recall there's a clause in the Constitution that says that all these are null if you violate human rights or offend somebody or something. So
Fuck.
That's not a constitution. That's a piece of. We have a piece of paper and we call it a constitution. Because it was written in the '70s by a really, really drugged up loser by the name of Pierre Elliott Trudeau, who also cut our military and implemented more gun control.
Oh yeah, the Trudeau's a dynasty, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was saying a couple minutes ago.
Imagine if Hillary Clinton had like Chelsea Clinton became president. That's what basically happened to us. Okay.
Well, we had that. We had Bush, then we had Bush's son.
But imagine Bush, instead of having served in the National Air Guard or whatever he served in and gone to Yale, imagine that Bush was a drama teacher. Not a drama teacher, sorry, and a substitute drama teacher. So
Oh my god.
relax, I'm not done yet, okay? And he got fired because he wasn't a very good substitute drama teacher, so he never got a contract, and he became a ski instructor and a yoga instructor, so, multi-talented, obviously. We obviously want that out of our politicians. And he decided to run for his party's nomination before he was a member of parliament, so he sort of pulled the Donald Trump in that regard. No elected office beforehand. He's like, hey, I'm going to lead a political party now. And they made him the leader of the political party with like 80% of the vote or something.
Well, it's the current year. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, this is back in like 2012 or whatever when he first showed up on the scene out of nowhere. And yeah, that's what we have. We have a substitute drama teacher who was unemployed at the time that
Holy.
at least Bush had. I mean, he was whatever. He's a bimbo. Whatever.
He was a governor.
Whatever.
He was a governor.
But he did stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was like if he didn't do what he did, if he was just a total bimbo and became a substitute drama teacher, his dad would have whooped his ass. Okay.
Yeah.
At least he had some fathering. I'm
Well,
sure
his
that
mom would have. Yeah.
his mom would have whooped his ass, like Texas, right? Don't mess with the best. Don't mess with the West. And he we have a guy that came out of luxury, like complete, absolute luxury. He was born while his, dad was at the height of his political career, and a wealthy family. We call them the Laurentian elite here in Canada, and it's people that are in Eastern Canada,
St. Lawrence.
very urbanized centers, very urbanized, urbanites, so to speak, and these Laurentian elite were very wealthy. His dad was a member of it. His dad was so wealthy that he was one of those people that didn't have to be drafted in the Second World War. Pierre Elliott Trudeau was like, I'm not fighting in the Second World War.
Let's pay that guy.
I believe he's actually quoted as saying that I think Hitler is a very bad man, but it's not worth it to fight him if we alienate Quebec or something like along those lines. So.
And now his son is the Prime Minister of Canada?
Yes, his unemployed drama teacher son, yeah.
Holy fuck.
That makes me feel a lot better about American politicians.
You guys should, you know what? At least Trump had some sort of business. He had a television show, I heard, allegedly. So whatever, that's fantastic. I wish our prime minister had a television show at one point. Also his wife is like a really bad actress, and she did this like one thing. Oh my goodness, I gotta.
He couldn't even teach his wife how to act? Is that how bad of a drama teacher he is?
Oh yeah, no, he's horrendous, and it was like a really offensive song. What was it? Oh my goodness.
The whole idea.
It was to do with like genital mutilation or something. I'm not sure. It was very, very.
Well, they just visited the United States. His wife is gorgeous, but I didn't know she was an actress.
Yeah, she's probably on like Ashley Madison, just desperately looking for something else. But excuse me, I didn't say that. Obviously, I love our dear Prime Minister, and I'm honored that he's our de facto commander in chief, and God bless him.
Isn't the Queen still supposedly your commander?
No, the Queen is the de jure and in title. She's legit, and God save the Queen. But I'm trying to find it here. What was it? She did oh my God. Oh, she wanted to she did like a fake infomercial that people thought was real, and it was like the least funny thing I've ever seen, and it was, obviously this was while they were married, but before he became prime minister, and it's like, menstrual blood being recycled into orange drink.
What?
Yeah. So she's like, oh, you can just menstrual bleed into this cup, and it converts it into orange drink, and you drink it back up and recycle your bodily fluids. And it's like, that wasn't funny. It was really gross and very low. But that's the kind of stuff that his wife did on TV in Quebec.
Here's the thing about Trump. He has some redeeming qualities, right?
Yeah.
Of all the bad things you can say about him.
Qualities are not being Ted Cruz and not being Hillary Clinton.
Well, those are the first redeeming qualities. But the second is, he was a CEO. And CEOs build businesses. They unite people around a common vision. They have leadership ability. They know how to direct people to accomplish tasks and get things done. If there's any redeeming quality in Trump, there's at least that. He's led something before. Whether it was a platoon or a squad, he's led something before, whereas you now have a guy in charge of your country
who couldn't teach drama to like
who couldn't
junior
lead a
high
drama
students.
class. He couldn't lead ski lessons. Couldn't lead a drama fucking
Well,
class.
no, he did. He did lead ski lessons. That's important, you know. When you're out there and you're facing Vladimir Putin toe to toe, you're gonna want to think back to those skiing lessons and be like, you know what?
I'm going to use these skis to run away because Putin's going to kill me.
Yeah, I can't wait till he meets Vladimir Putin. It's gonna be fantastic.
Well, that's my concern about Bernie Sanders. Like, Bernie Sanders, if he becomes president, going toe-to-toe with Vladimir Putin? Are you insane?
I think he can do it. He's aggressive as an individual. That's not where he's weakest, I think.
Hillary has bigger balls than Bernie.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the whole incident with the Black Lives Matter protesters randomly interrupting his...
That's the fucking moment I decided I was not going to vote for that weak beta cuck motherfucker. I would not...
Say it like it is.
That's the moment I decided. Like, if you get chased off your stage by two fat beat poets, I'm not fucking voting for you. I will vote for Trump before I vote for Sanders.
They are pretty fat. Like, that was... Like, he could have been like, just, guys, we'll listen to you, but... Like, he didn't even say anything. He just got out of the way and was just like, I quit.
Exactly.
I surrender.
Yeah, he just fucking rolled over. Like a
The other
bitch.
people, like his aides, were like, doing their thing. Okay, we'll let you guys speak, but we need to finish our thing first. We have a thing going on.
Reasonable, and they shout in the face and say, "We are being reasonable."
No. As they like shove him away from the microphone,
and he just surrenders it. Like, fucking surrender. Is that what you're gonna do when Putin comes at you, fucker?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. No way, dude. No, I can't abide.
He speaks English too, so Bernie's just fucked.
So раз видите,
you know.
No, that's literally the moment I decided I could not vote for Bernie Sanders. A guy who I'd wanted to run for president for a long time. No, that's not happening.
Putin really likes to go out of his way to intimidate everyone. Like, when he meets with Merkel, who's known for being afraid of dogs, he always brings his dog off of the leash.
He's a troll. He's a fucking troll. Fucking Putin is a troll. Trump is a troll, but he's a brash and abrasive and uncouth troll. Putin is more a subversive KGB-style troll. Fucks with your head without you knowing he's fucking with your head.
He's rumored to have mild Asperger's syndrome, so I think that may that plus all that testosterone running through his blood.
What? Fucking wrestling bears and shit.
Putin is the manliest of all world leaders.
Well, at least he's very good at portraying the image of such a thing.
Right. He's got a very good propaganda machine.
But,
if there was a U.S. president who portrayed the same image as Putin, you know what we'd call him?
Theodore Roosevelt?
Yes.
I fucking love Theodore Roosevelt. I want Theodore Roosevelt for president right now.
Bull Moose Party, guys.
Bull Moose progressives. I mean, he basically did what Trump did. He took the Republican Party, said, "Fuck you guys. I'm creating a new party because you're not helping people out.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
And I'm going to run for president." And then he didn't make it and went to the Amazon.
Yeah.
Lost his son. And yeah, I'm a very big fan of Teddy Roosevelt. He's like one of my favorite people in history ever.
He walked up to the Republicans and said, "Screw you guys, I'm going home.
And I'm making a new party." I've read almost every book I can find about Teddy Roosevelt. Fucking badass. That's what we need right now. We need like fucking Teddy Roosevelt. Whip America into shape. Tell those pussies on college campuses to stop fucking crying. Shut the fuck up. Sit the fuck down. I got shot in the chest.
These are the types of people who get freaking triggered by a freaking chalk writing in concrete that says Trump 2016.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Chalk. Fucking chalk.
That's horrific, though. I don't know. That
Is
shock
that,
could like come
Henry?
out and like grab them and rape them. Like, you got to be careful there. Whenever you see that shock.
Yeah,
I mean, I've gotten shock
As-
in my eyes before. It violated me. I did not consent to that shock getting all over my. I did not consent.
I mean,
Have you seen
Yep.
like the GIF or the GIF, whatever, of whatever her face is, the girl from Community shooting like all the the pepper spray, and she like runs for and runs into it. Have you seen that?
no.
It's an amazing GIF, and it's like modern liberals today. I'll see if I can.
Trump 2016. I saw Trump 2016 written on the internet. It triggered me. I'm gonna call into work. Tell him I can't come in. I won't be in next week anyway. I'll be going to LA.
So, Marcus, how would your boss react if you tried to say that something triggered you so you couldn't show up?
Well, see, currently where I work, it's almost all civilians, and they don't really care if I show up, so they probably wouldn't care. But in a regular unit, there'd be severe, unending harassment about how much of a pussy you are.
And
that's the truth, Ruth.
And anyone who opened himself up to that kind of harassment would deserve it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, certainly. Certainly, and I would certainly participate.
All right, I sent it. For those that are interested, it's in the Google Plus, Google Hangouts chat. It's there. That's basically modern day SJWs. That's what they're doing.
My eyes.
Still loading on my end.
Well, it's something I keep saying is like 70 years ago we were the men who stopped Hitler, and now today we are the men who cry and run into a safe space when somebody says the word Nazis or Hitler. It's the most we have come so far backwards in 70 years.
And
Yeah,
everyone who
like
disagrees
shock.
with you is literally Hitler.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'll call you Hitler, and after I call you Hitler, I need to go to my safe space because somebody said Hitler.
Yeah.
And I've been triggered.
Triggered myself.
Weakness.
Oh my God.
Safe spaces are for the mentally ill. Okay, they're for the mentally ill that have like actual autism and Asperger's, etc. If you are in a university doing a liberal arts degree, you do not need a safe space. I'm sorry.
We've had a spate of what do they call it? No platforming. Basically, people coming to speak they didn't want to hear speak, and they basically shut it down and say, "No, your ideas are so horrible that we can't let you speak here."
You go to a like a community college or a bigger
No.
campus.
Yeah, this is happening on campuses all over the United States.
Oh God.
Yeah.
They tried to do it to Bill Maher at USC, University of Southern California.
He said no to Bill Maher.
Yeah, they tried to no platform him.
Is that a joke? Like, come on. Bill Maher is like just a meme lord, like news, not even news, like sort of talk show host. Come on.
Yeah. Well, they didn't want him to speak at UCLA or USC. I can't remember. I think it's University of Southern California. And last year they tried to no platform him. They've tried to no platform other people that just have ideas they don't want to hear. Feminist Muslims, they don't like that. Muslim women who speak out against Islamism, they will no platform them in a heartbeat.
Wow.
They will shut them down. They do not want to hear what they have to say. And it's kind of
Islamic performers.
Oh yeah, like
These are-
Majid Nawaz and
Ayan here.
and,
Yeah.
yeah, all those people. They shut them down. They don't want to hear what they have to say.
At many colleges, I have a feeling that this year's graduation speaker here would be harassed, but I don't think he'd take it. We're getting the admiral who developed that TAP code while he was a POW in Vietnam.
Oh no way!
Yeah.
Shut up!
Cool.
At many colleges, people would harass him. I just don't think he's going to take it.
Yeah.
He's dealt with worse.
Oh, I hate this tack dust. This threads all over it. It is brand spanking new.
Oh yeah, one thing that did happen since last time: Phoenix.
Was there a shooting I'm not aware of?
Oh no, the Trump protesters there blocking I-10, I believe,
Oh yeah, and then there was like the Jeep.
trying to get, and then that one lady yelling, "Attempted murder!"
Yeah.
You know,
He ran over
If
my
you stood in the
sign.
way of a moving vehicle, that's your fault. Sorry. Yeah, there was a guy that stopped in the LA riots, I believe, and he was pulled out of his vehicle. Like, he stopped for the
Reginald Denny.
roadblock, and Reginald Denny, and he was pulled out of his vehicle, and like, did
Brutally
he die?
He survived.
Did he survive? Okay, he just got, well,
Brutally.
he wasn't doing very well after the incident. Let's just put it that way.
Oh yeah.
I saw the picture, and I had to ask, like, did he survive that? Like, holy.
Well, when I like point out that you have the right to protest outside the Trump rally, and I will support your right to do that. I might even join you
Yeah, did
if
you
you can
guys
convince
see
me
the,
that Trump is a bad enough man. But you don't have the right to impede traffic and create a hazardous situation for other people.
If you block a public road,
You should be
it's
run
time
over.
to break out the tear gas.
Yeah, they should just bring tear gas canisters and pop them out there.
Especially if there's a fire truck or ambulance on the way. I think that all fire or medical vehicles should carry tear gas just to deal with situations like this.
dude,
I'm
you're
not-
like,
And then they shrug.
that's like every EMT and firefighter's fantasy. Playing on it right now. Pretty easy. They're just because I know firefighters and stuff, and they're like, I wish I had a gun.
Well, they say Trump is racist and sexist, and there's a little bit of sexism in the stuff he says, and I've asked for explicit evidence of Trump being a racist and not a nationalist, because there's some stuff he
Not
says.
a protectionist, not a nationalist, a racist too. Specifically, he hates the Muslim race or whatever.
Yeah,
Is it the
specifically
Muslim
that he's
race?
racist
Muslim.
against Mexicans.
Oh yeah.
I think is there
And
implied.
with
Do they actually
with
read his quotes?
with the
Well,
stuff,
whenever he says I love Hispanics, he's actually sexually code that he is gonna gas all the Hispanics. That's the evidence you need.
with the stuff about Clinton being sexist, the people who criticize him for that tend to give Bill Clinton a free pass. And
Oh my God, Bill Clinton is. Well,
Bill Clinton was vastly worse on that matter.
Well, I'm Bill Clinton. I'm just a man. I've got desires need to be filled. And I'm the president. Yeah, Bill Clinton. He's a. They will give him a pass, and you can list all like 19 people he allegedly, sexually harassed in one way or another, and and you just get that.
I mean, we even have one of our leading presidential candidates participated in the shaming and harassment of those people.
Well, yeah, it was her husband. I mean, that's she had an obligation.
You know, most people, if they were in her situation, would probably be talking to a divorce attorney.
Have you watched House of Cards?
I've watched a few episodes.
Yeah.
House of Cards basically sums up what happened. It's like the whole thing, like that whole relationship is like, I mean, it's basically Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton if they were a lot smarter, right? But the relationship thing is exactly what I'm sure happens all the time in politics, anyways, because it's
Yeah.
so bad to have a divorce.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It kind of reminds me a lot
It's
of
so damning to
Hillary.
both of you professionally to have a divorce when you're, I mean, if you're a celebrity, like a movie star, no one fucking cares, right? But
Yeah.
if you're a public figure and if you're a public figure in politics and people look to you as
moral
an example, a moral standard of family.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like with the part you lose part of your credibility as a politician. To say you can't say I'm a family man anymore, yada yada yada.
Well, that's what they're trying to do to Ted Cruz right now. As much as I don't like Ted Cruz, I mean, that's what Trump's doing to him right now. He spread some rumor, and the rumor is enough to destroy his political career based on who elects him. I've lived in Texas. I know the people that elect Ted Cruz to the Senate, and just the mere rumor that he has had an extramarital affair would be enough to kill his political career, whether it's true or not. The rumor will destroy his political career. So it's that pure.
And it's not even just a Republican thing. It's a regardless of whether or not I guess left wingers, like far left wingers, like to admit it or not. Everybody sort of likes family. Family's nice.
Yeah, they still cling to those societal moorings and those cultural norms as much as they like to think they're the outliers.
Yeah. LGBT rights, yada yada yada. They're more fans of seeing, a gay couple with two beautiful kids. Still sort of nuclear family-esque, right? They still like seeing family rather than and like marriages and
right.
And like gay divorces don't happen, sort of thing, right?
Yeah, we want the gay people to have what the straight people have. We want them to look exactly like them.
Yeah.
Do they want that?
Yeah, but do the gay people want that? Yeah.
Well, the only reason it makes them feel better. I have other reasons. I have just very libertarian reasons why I'm totally in support of that stuff. But the liberal reason is, at the end of the day, we want the world to be clean, as George Carlin said. We want a sanitized planet, and that includes the people and the relationships we have with one another. Sanitized.
Yeah, we want everything to be easy to understand.
Easy to understand.
Normalized and in easy circles.
Fuck history.
Right.
Yeah, history's bad. Excitement, no. We can have organized excitement, like soccer games, maybe. Like bringing our kids to soccer games. That's organized excitement.
Oh, explaining the whole context of human civilization as a competition between one another, rather than, oh no, let's just basically make it into white privilege, blah blah blah, turn to this binary us versus them bullshit, and then carry that original sin onto living descendants today, and then oppress them back for being better at competing on the world stage, just to make it even.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing I've been harping on lately is the SJW as a religious cult. They're
Bernie Sanders as their Lord and Savior.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders is the Pope of the Church of Social Justice. Hillary Clinton has the Archdiocese of Feminism, and
Archdiocese. These are so specific. Are there like clergymen in this archdiocese?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's like specific deacons.
Like D. Ray McKeeson, he's got the Archdiocese of Black Lives Matter, and the Pope will go visit Black Lives Matter, and that Archdiocese.
Kiss their feet, sort of thing.
Right, and get their blessing, and to be the Pope. So the white smoke comes out of the chimney.
That's hilarious. That's such a good analogy for it too. That's hilarious. I love it.
I've constructed this whole world in my head. That's how I view it. Every time I see a Bernie Sanders thing now, that's how I compute it in my head now. I was like, oh, well, how does this relate to the Catholic Church? I know nothing about the Catholic Church. I'm not Catholic. I just know basically what I've read about it. But basic organization.
The hierarchical structure of the Catholic Church. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
That's an amazing analogy. If it was Canada, we'd be like one of those what are they called? The Luddites, like a church full of Luddites, where we're just destroying everything that's nice. Now because we have the village idiot in charge. That's what Canada is. I shit you guys not. At least your bimbos have some credentials outside of skiing and teaching like drama to his junior high students.
Yeah, your description of him makes me imagine the horror of the theater professors over here running for president.
Dude, that's basically what happened. We I don't understand why we elected because prepubescent girls thought he had nice hair. Like, we basically elected Justin Bieber, okay? We might as well have elected Justin Bieber to be our prime minister.
Well, Bieber's
Justin
Canadian.
Bieber. Yeah, Bieber's Canadian, and he probably has more credentials as an entrepreneur than our current prime minister. We'd be better off with Justin Bieber as prime minister. And if you asked me that in like junior high or something, what do you think of Justin Bieber? I would have been like, no, terrible idea. It's one of those things, right? Like a lot of people in the United States are like, Trump is a terrible idea, blah blah blah. Back, maybe 2005 or whatever when he was doing the Apprentice. Like, Trump, that idiot. TV show, that's terrible. But it's not looking so bad now because of just the alternatives you're presented with, which is awful. I'd rather have Justin Bieber as my prime minister. Justin Bieber is our Donald Trump. He's gonna build he's gonna build a wall. He's gonna build the wall. I'm not sure where, but
wall.
A wall. He's gonna build a wall. I honestly would rather have him be our prime minister. Justin Bieber.
I have a feeling that Bernie Sanders would be much more electable if he was a U.S. military officer for around 25 years.
Oh yeah.
He has no.
Oh yeah, he has no other job credentials other than mayor. So
because
He's
if he was a U.S. military officer for around 25 years, he'd be Colonel Sanders, right?
Yeah, Colonel Sanders. You can't not elect Colonel Sanders.
And he'd have the South. If
Yeah.
his name was Colonel Sanders, the South would.
They would assume, just make assumptions about him. Colonel Sanders, he's a good man.
What?
He feeds my family every Friday night.
Colonel Sanders is running.
Well, God's given
Bernie
them both.
Sanders made the rank of colonel.
They could make him a Kentucky colonel.
Oh, that's right.
This is a real colonel.
Got more credentials.
Rudy Giuliani is now saying that Hillary Clinton could be considered a founding member of ISIS.
God,
Wow.
Shut up.
Hey, he's playing
What's
right.
wrong with that guy, Rudy? What's wrong with New York? Ryan, you know probably a bit about this. What's wrong with New York? How do we fix New York? Let's start with guns. How do we fix this? Do we just nuke New York? Because that's the vibes I'm getting as a Canadian.
Here's the thing about New York. People the politicians there. They think the rest of the country is exactly like them.
Because didn't you know that Manhattan is the center of the world?
It sounds like
It kind of is, and at the same time, it isn't.
But it's not actually the center of the world at all. Not even close.
Yeah, I grew
I'd
up
like
in
to think they are, though.
New York, and I don't remember much about how he changed the city while he lived there. But 1 second. Crime definitely went down when I lived there. Here we go. Yep. Back then he hired the current police commissioner, Bill Bratton, who later retired but came back to basically apply broken windows theory of urban decay, and yeah,
That's
basically
awesome.
yeah.
Arrest people for pointless
Jaywalking.
things because
Vertical patrols? The vertical patrols.
I think those have always been around, to be honest, since what those basically are is patrol officers going up and down the stairs of these huge ass apartment towers, and if you've seen flyover shots in New York City, you see those brick tenements. That's where these public housing officers are patrolling, since those are under the jurisdiction of the city.
I don't think they're the best idea because, well, all the incidents of people getting shot randomly.
I mean,
Not the best.
In theory, it makes sense to me. It just seems like the officers need to be better trained.
Yeah, the theory.
But
But the theory is like there is no theory, which is pretty awful.
Yeah, I can definitely understand having law enforcement patrol a public building. It's just that it seems like they need better training.
I mean, yeah, they do, but can they get trained given 35,000 people in the department and only so much
Well,
money to go around?
They
The patrol rifle program is only starting to take off, and you
really,
know where the rest of the country is on that, basically, in terms of on an agency wide basis.
really, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like patrol rifles should be just a given. I mean, in the world we live in, come on.
Yep.
Oh, I think they should only get them if the general public can have them.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. That 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, the general with the same, magazine
Yeah.
rights.
Oh yeah. And features.
Right. And
And
features. Yeah.
Yeah. Because but you've seen a New York compliant AR-15 rifle, right?
I've seen your California. So what's the
New York. I'm gonna put it in the chat real quick.
Okay.
And you will not believe this when I show you.
When it gets
One
to
second.
All right, you're gonna have to explain, I guess, if it's not obviously apparent what the differences are. Wait, is it the one that's totally
you'll
like
see 'em.
tricked out and like? I might know what this is. Hold on, redirect notice.
Okay,
Yeah.
so under the New York SAFE Act, you basically got a
Oh my God!
have-
Yeah. Oh yeah, the stock.
yeah. If you have any of these features that on
Oh
a
my.
semi-auto
to
center
that
center
point, you
fire
might as
rifle.
well use a Mini 14.
I like how a guy in New York has a Confederate flag as his display picture. It's kind of ironic. And like
Yeah.
he's like living in the least like free place like in the first world right now. Maybe second to us, but that stock is hilarious. Where it just cuts, where that point just cuts off. You can't because you can't have like a stock or whatever. That's hilarious.
Things like that are why I was saying right before Henry came in that Canada probably has better laws than some states.
Oh yeah, no, I completely concur with that. After seeing California compliance and I mean this one, I remember seeing this one back when it first came out.
Canada definitely has better laws than most of the U.S. territories, with the brand new exception of Puerto Rico that had all of its restrictions ruled unconstitutional.
I wish that would happen if Canada had a real constitution. Too bad we don't.
Yeah, going back to New York City though, if you want to defend your home with a long gun, and you don't want to get a knock on your door and
In the middle of
have
the
that
night.
taken away from you, that's basically what you got to do to it.
So I heard that in New York a lot of people get muzzle-loading cap and ball revolvers because
People do that in Canada too because they're antiques.
because they're not legally considered firearms in the U.S. Yeah, we don't just consider them to be antiques. We consider.
Yeah, we don't consider them to be firearms either, technically, because they're antiques. But the thing is, if they're like if they're in a cartridge, I've explained this, I think, I don't know if I've explained it to you before. Hold up, who's on? So Sam, I've explained it to you, I think, and I've explained it to Brian how it works. I don't know if I've told you about this, Ryan, but basically it's anything that the rounds are commercially available is still considered a firearm. So that
Oh, yeah, you did
includes
tell me
an
this.
1873, no, sorry, 51 Colt revolver, right? Because the ammo is still commercially available, like 38 or whatever, like 38 balls. That is considered a restricted firearm in Canada because of the barrel length, even though it's a black powder. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
We were talking
atrocious.
about this earlier. I don't know if you know about the California safe handgun roster.
Mm-hmm.
So, you've seen what hoops long gun people had to go through in order to get their guns CA compliant if it's not written in the law. But it's worse for handguns because there's a list of a few hundred handguns that we law-abiding peons in California can't legally buy. That is, we're not like government employees or anything like that. Yeah, only certain models of handguns that we can buy, and that list gets smaller every year. And here's the thing about it: the companies that make these guns have to pay a fee to the California Department of Justice in order to keep those guns legal and on the list. Otherwise, like that lease expires, and then they're not legal anymore. And the California Department of Justice can essentially take them off the list on their own discretion, at their own will.
Didn't they add a requirement that unless it's a revolver, it must have microstamping now?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and one of the I forget, it was like a SIG pistol, I believe, or Smith and Wesson. Like the black model is legal in California because it's on the list, but
Yeah.
that company didn't pay for the flat dark earth model. That's not technically legal to sell. So
That's
yeah,
ridiculous.
you see, they had to pay a fee for that, exorbitant fee too.
Oh.
Yeah, it's extortion. That's what it is.
There is nothing about that that is not ridiculous.
Well, only the anti-gunners who say like, "Oh, it's the right step into restricting all firearms, one gun at a time if it saves one life." That bullshit.
You're not actually trying to save lives. Admit it.
Oh yeah. What I brought up earlier in the page, in the Rifles and Reason discussion page, was when they pretend to care about law enforcement lives by saying, "Oh, if we restrict this ammo or ban this type of gun, police officers won't be outgunned or shot at, and we'll save their lives." And that fails on so many levels.
Especially when these are the people who claim to be concerned about police brutality.
Oh yeah, and the same type of people who say, "Why didn't you shoot him in the leg?" Whenever there was a officer-involved shooting or a shooting of a intruder.
Well, if you know anything about firearms, you know why.
Oh yeah, and
Because
lawsuits.
aiming for anything but center mass in a high-stress situation is called missing.
Yep. Anyone who's gone through a simulator of any type or any kind of use of force training would know that.
I just did training last weekend. It was fun.
Yeah.
With Paramount Tactical in West Virginia. Yeah, it was good. It was good training. I've never actually been technically trained on how to do defensive handgun tactics and stuff, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I learned a lot. Learned basically is all engagements from 5 to 10 meters, and unholstering and firing 2 rounds, and then firing 2 rounds on 2 different targets was all we worked up to in about 8 hours. So next course, you start moving around and running around, firing with one hand, and doing all that kind of cool stuff. But these guys are pretty good. They're all like former Special Forces operators or Department of State security, and do all that sort of high risk security jobs. So they have a lot of skill and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing about firearms: they're no good if you don't learn to train with them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're no good. And make sure you get proper training, not the. Oh man, did you guys see that firearms instructor? What was it, like 36 muzzle sweeps in like a 2-minute video?
Oh yeah, that.
No, but
Black guy.
sounds
Oh my-
cringeworthy as hell.
Just a sec, I'll see if I can find it. Most.
You guys know who Sonny Puzikas is?
Yes. Oh my God, ex-Spetsnaz, AK operator, one of James Yeager's buddies.
Yeah. You know what he's known for now?
What?
He's in his training course that he's the head instructor for. He at one point was going to
someone.
the shoot house to demonstrate shooting in the dark, having memorized the location of the targets. He didn't bother to check whether or not someone was downrange.
Oh yeah. Yep. And he shot him.
And it was the other people who noticed after they turned the lights on that he had shot someone.
Holy shit.
Gospel of violence. That's
Alright, I
the
sent the worst firearms instructor ever.
I'm gonna take a look at that.
It is quite impressive. It's called Voda Consulting, and oh my god, it is impressive.
Oh, and apparently...
So this guy got stripped of his credentials and all that stuff. So
Good.
it's a good thing.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking firearms instructor right there.
That's stellar music in the background. What the hell?
Yeah, so he put that there himself. If you like skip ahead to like 1 minute, there's like all the muzzle sweeps. It just starts. It begins and the video just pauses every time he does a muzzle sweep, and it's insane.
I see it. Yep, he's
Skip
sweeping that
forward
lady
1
right
minute,
there.
Yeah. No, just watch what happens. He has like the people all sweep him.
Alright, starting to
The
zero.
guy behind him. I'm at 3.
I don't think there's one where like 36 months. There's like one where he's just standing in front of the lady the whole time, adjusting her position, like the gun in his face, and he's like, "Okay, let's just take a look here." I don't know if that's around.
IQ level potato.
Jesus. These people's shooting forms are horrible.
So hold up.
I think this guy should be teaching yoga instead.
What? He's teaching him to chicken wing?
Yeah.
With the handgun. I mean, with the rifle, I can see why, because you want to figure out how to hold that thing. But a handgun, holy shit!
Oh my God, this one is ridiculous. This one's from his actual channel. It's now no longer someone just like making fun of him. That's his actual channel, and basically it's him teaching holster draws to a lady, and she just takes out and points it at him. He takes out his, points it at her, and he's like, "Good," and then they just keep doing this the whole video.
65 views.
Under 3 full minutes of them just pointing guns at each other the whole time. Oh, they're seeing who can pull the trigger the fastest too. So they're not only are they pointing the guns at each other, they have the gun racked and they're blank fire. They're like dry firing at each other in the face.
What the?
Don't do that.
Did you just say what I think you said?
Yes, they are dry firing at each other with the guns pointed at their faces.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Yeah, skip to like 105. It's the worst. He like goes up.
Yeah, I see it right here.
Yeah.
105.
Don't ever point a gun at anything you don't wish to kill or destroy. That,
Yeah, they
I guess
don't believe in
everyone
that, obviously.
Okay.
Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Cooper, motherfucker. Have you heard of him?
Nope. Well, we heard of him. We just ignore him because we know better. Oh, Jesus. Well, I have to wrap this thing up. I have to go pack.
I'm going shooting tomorrow.
I just got told I have to do laundry
Have
now,
fun.
so I'm on laundry.
Yeah, my
duty.
spring break's almost over, so I might get me a
Well, it
Remington.
might be a funny thing to drop the worst firearms instructor on R&R's page at some point, because it is just so ridiculous. It's.
Feel free to, Henry. Feel free
No.
to. You're an admin.
Should I? I know I am. I'm just making sure everybody's coached with it. Should I drop the client in session video, or should I drop the one with all the muzzle sweeps pointed out?
Yes.
The muzzle sweep. A lot more entertaining.
Okay.
And the interstellar music.
Yeah, the interstellar music. Okay, I'll
love
drop
that.
it.
How dare
I say that
He's like ruining the movie, isn't he? He's just do 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 do,
Nice.
and then
I know,
it's like
right?
him just muzzle sweeping. And now, whenever you hear that song, you're gonna think of this guy and his stupid muzzle sweeps.
Yeah, I know.
I think that videos should like that should always have yakety sax as the music.
I can do that. I have the ability. I can work on that on the airplane. I'll do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yakety
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be in your neck of the woods for the next week, Ryan.
Other side of the state, but close enough.
Yeah. I'll be out in Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles.
Los
Los
Angeles.
Angeles.
Yeah, for a little fun trip. So it'll be fun times. So yeah, won't be doing one next week, but maybe the week after. We'll see how many events turn around the world between the next 2 weeks.
Breaking news: Bernie Sanders is suing the Democratic Party. Is that legit?
Yeah, he's been doing that for a while.
Whenever he
Right
doesn't
now.
have time to reach for some popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
He just served him with a bunch of papers yesterday. I mean, it's been in the works for a while, but he just served a bunch of papers yesterday that really got the case rolling. So, yeah. Such is our politics here in the States.
All right. Signing off.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Live long and prosper.